Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Aloha Wednesday. Congratulations. You've made it through the first couple days of the week and hopefully very well. So Michelle is in CCIM classes this week, which is great because she's taken them before and she was always like part of the way through her CCIM designation. That's her, the commercial, high level commercial designation, excellent designation. Anyway, she's always been part of the way through it, and it's been a goal of hers to finish so she can finally get that designation. So she committed to going to Oahu to take classes this week so she could finish her credits for that. So that's exciting for her, which is why she's not going to on the call this morning. She is working while she's there, although she's got, I think Keone's helping to cover if there's anything urgent that needs to happen while she's in class. So just a heads up there, but we're excited for her that she's going to get that because that's also really going to help on the commercial side for all of us as well. Okay, so I wanted to share a couple things with you. One of the things I'm sure Michelle would be sharing is that there was an article that you may have seen, and I'm going to pull it up and share my screen that came out regarding amended Maui emergency rules. And I don't know on the Big Island, those of you who are Big Island, you can kind of give us an update there. So let me share my screen though, and I can show you the article that came out. This was in Maui Now on the 18th last week. And basically these were the changes that were made. One is that outdoor social gatherings increased from 10 to up to 25 people outside. So now, you know, like restaurants and stuff that have those outdoor events, they can have more people potentially in those areas. I think if you're doing a social gathering, you can have 25 people. I don't know. I mean, you guys can say your experience. I don't know how much they've really been monitoring or cracking down on this, although now they're up to 25. So that's the good news. And then restaurants may operate now until midnight. So I guess they were having to close earlier. I don't know when they were having to close. Does anybody know what it was? I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was 10, 11. Oh,
it was 10 originally, then it went
10
to 11, and now it's midnight.
Okay, so there's another hour added for all you partiers and late eaters. And then this is a big one. I don't know where or what this means. Maybe it's War Memorial, maybe it's, I don't know, but or just like high school games, maybe Keone, you know. It says up to 200 people may now attend outdoor sporting events. So I'm not sure what the designation is between like a social, I guess a social gathering, but if it's a sporting event that has seating, I don't know what they have to do with the seating. But anyway, does anybody know, or has anybody been attending those?
It's Little League game, which we already can't. Little League, yeah.
Okay.
So parents can be in the stands and fans can be in the stands, basically, let's say.
Okay, got it.
Or at the beach.
And then as you probably had heard, also starting on the 15th of the month, now inter-island travel, you can do inter-island travel without having to take a COVID test, which is great because that was costing $150 every time. So no COVID tests for inter-island travel. Now, does anybody know, I just want to confirm this. So if somebody comes from if somebody is visiting though from the mainland, it doesn't matter, right? Because if they're here and then they want to go inter-island, that's the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a resident or not. Is that correct? It's not just for residents, it's all inter-island travel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The mayor was talking about it and it sounded like residents for sure. He didn't really elaborate on tourists, but then he did say that if you're traveling from the mainland or back from the mainland and you're vaccinated in Hawaii, you don't have to have a test.
Okay, so that's for returning residents. I don't know how they're monitoring that. Although, okay, so I guess the question is, because we have a lot of clients that are coming in that want to go to other islands. I just wanted to make sure that that was the case, that they do not have to take a test when they go inter islands. Once they're stationed, you know, they come to Maui, then they want to go to the Big Island or whatever, vice versa. I know Oahu's Oahu, and that has been, they haven't needed it going there. So if anybody hears differently, or if they do check, or if it's only for residents, let me know. It doesn't indicate that anywhere. I didn't see that. I just was wondering, just wanting to make sure. Okay. There was an interesting question that somebody brought up, that this is, I think I've mentioned him before. This is this coach that I follow. He's a MAPS coach on Facebook, and he's great. And he posts a lot of thought-provoking questions. And one of the questions that he asked was, what's more important, what you say or how you say it? And I thought that was an interesting question. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. So what do you guys think is more important? And maybe give a thought process behind that, or an example. Is it what you say or how you say it?
Totally how you say it.
Definitely.
Okay, so Karen, Michelle, you guys.
Totally how you say it, because you can say, oh, I hate you so much, or oh, I love you so much, like that. Or you can say, oh, I hate you so much, but you don't get it. So it's totally how you say it. What you say is very important too. You have to choose your words, because words are things, but how you say it is even more important.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So Stacy says it depends. I'm curious, Stacy, what you mean by that. I'm of the school of how you say it. I think they're both important as well, Karen. How you say it, though, affects us.
Well, what's important is what you say, and be a person of your word, have integrity, and do say. You can say it with excitement, but you still have to do it, you know?
Okay, so you're saying that what you say matters if you say something and you don't mean it, or you don't follow through, or... Okay, got it. Where does that come? So Joanne's saying style supersedes substance. Ooh, I like that, Joanne. Style, say that like 10 times fast. So give me an example of where this matters with clients. And Cheryl, you raised your hand, so you want to talk about that?
I actually have a really great example of how you say it really matters. There's one sentence, and it'll mean something different every single time you say it, depending on how you say it. I mean, it actually means something different. And the sentence is, it's a lawyer in court defending somebody. And the sentence is, I didn't say he killed him with a knife. And you can say it all these different ways. I didn't say he killed him with a knife. I didn't say he killed him with a knife. I didn't say he killed him with a knife. I didn't say he killed him with a knife. I didn't say he killed him with a knife.
I love it. That was such a great example. Yeah. So each word that you stress or phrase changes the context.
Right. But I still think that, you know, it's perspective. Who are you talking to? Who is your audience? That's who's going to determine what their thinking is. So you're saying how you're saying it to a different audience. Doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it to that particular audience.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all considerations. So I definitely think what you say is important. How you say it in terms of how people react, and from an emotional perspective, right? That tends to evoke certain emotions. And I think so with clients, that's a really sensitive issue when you're dealing with buying and selling property, or what it is that you're trying to convey. So yeah, Cheryl's example is a great one. That's what we learn in theater school as well. There's 10 lines, and depending on how they're said, it has a completely different meaning in terms of what that conversation is, how it goes, what happens in the relationship, whether people are loving each other or hating each other. So it's just important. Samantha's saying depends on what your client values. That's great. I like that too. And then Ray says, why I prefer phone calls to emails. Text is always interpretable. Great point. That is such a good point, Ray. And Ray doesn't know that I teach this. You know, when I used to teach all the Ignite classes, that was a huge thing that I would stress. And I would still stress that for you guys when you're if you're going to submit offers or you're talking to your client about something, or it's a sensitive topic, or the other agent on the deal, that you always, yes, you have to have everything in writing and want to recap those conversations in emails for sure. However, oftentimes, if you pick up the phone and call and talk to somebody, then you're much more assured that that's going to be interpreted in the way that is going to be to your benefit or your client's benefit, versus somebody could mistakenly, somebody could read something and depending on their own filter, think that it's a negative thing when it wasn't at all, right? So that's a really good point. So those are things for you guys to just consider and think about as you're learning, and especially if you're doing scripts, right? You guys are doing script practice or objection handlers, or you have the same things that clients say all the time, or whatever the case is right now. Buyers want to wait because they think pricing is too high, or so how you say those things is important, and also what they value. I like what Sam said. And then who is your audience? Those are all great comments. Awesome, you guys. And if you come up with any specific examples or something that has happened recently that you think about where this came into play, that would be a great thing to share. I do think it comes into play a lot, I would say most frequently, with agents on the other side of a deal, especially in the negotiation process. That's where we see this. We run into problems a lot. And then also throughout the transaction, as you're emailing, and I know you guys are really busy and things are happening quickly. So just be very cautious and careful about that. And 9 times out of 10, if you talk to somebody on the phone before you send an email, or in addition to the email that you send, it can counter any possible issues that you would run into. Okay, a couple other things on that would be probably on Michelle's plate is referral agreements. So this is a reminder, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to evolve the process a little bit so it makes it easier for you guys and easier for Shelby, which we're working on right now, is how we handle referral agreements and finding out that you guys have one. Right now, we are leaving it up to you to send an email to Shelby when you have a referral agreement signed, so she knows that on a certain deal, you are paying out a referral fee. Of course, you also you can put that in the notes section in command when you guys submit your files. Otherwise, there's no way for Shelby to know that a referral fee is getting paid out, which means it won't go in your disbursement authorization or instructions to escrow. And, or you can make sure that escrow has it, then it'll show up on the settlement statement. But again, Shelby needs to know because she is sending that DA to escrow. So right now, just a reminder to make sure if you have a referral agreement, sometimes those things happen fast. You get a call, somebody wants to refer you, you start working with the client, you forget. Just reminder to make sure you have that referral agreement. Also have it in writing too, because has it happened where you sent a referral to somebody else, you did not have a referral agreement, that deal closed and you did not get paid? I can tell you it's happened. And we have no ability to enforce something like that unless you have an agreement in writing. Now, if you have an email chain and that's agreed to, we can go to the broker with that. However, keep in mind that an email chain by itself with the other agent is not necessarily sufficient, because the referral agreement is technically with the brokerages. It is not between the agents. Does that make sense? So I would just want to make sure that you guys realize that, and brokers have to authorize. And I can tell you that I've, being on the professional standards committee for our board, I've actually seen that happen where somebody had a referral between the agents and the broker never approved it. And then they were fighting for that money. And, that was not a pretty picture. And had they come to a written agreement between the brokers previously, there wouldn't have been a problem. So what we're doing to make that a little bit easier is we're going to create a separate, like a placeholder. I don't know exactly. I think it's going to be where you have in command under opportunities, like when you upload documents and you have right now there's like one transaction checklist for all types of transactions. So what we're going to do is add one. I've been talking to the compliance person in Chicago who's amazing. She runs Karen Prahl's offices in Chicago and she does compliance, and she's handling like hundreds of files a day, not a month, which is what we do. And so her systems are very good and efficient. So she's giving us some pointers of how to make it easier for you guys and cleaner so that our processes can continue to improve, which, you know, we always are working towards, and they've gotten a lot better than they were. So we're probably going to have a separate thing in there that says referral agreements or referrals. So that way it'll just say, hey, here's a document you want to upload into this file, put the property address or put the whatever the criteria is that we're going to need. So just, that'll probably roll out. She's going to work with us on it. I'm waiting for her proposal. So sometime in July, I'm guessing, we'll just let you know. So I just want to make sure that you guys, yeah.
It's on our escrow instructions, which is easy if it's a referring, you know, if you're getting a client in. It's when it goes out is the problem, because there's, you know, all of a sudden a check shows up. So
Sure. Yes. It's easier for us. Of course, it's easier for us, right, Keone, when we send it out, because yeah, we control that. We have to make sure though, yeah, that we're going to get paid by the other brokerage, right? That's the tricky part.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Right? Yeah. And then the other thing is we get checks. So Shelby will get checks frequently from other brokerages, and they don't send a referral agreement with it, and they don't indicate who the agent is. So we'll get a check and she'll be like, hey, is anybody waiting for a referral? Because we don't know who this applies to. So anyway, Joanne, and in American dollars, USD. Yes, that's a good reminder because Canada or wherever else. Okay. So here's something super, super exciting. That's new information. And Ray is going to work on something to send out to you guys. In the meantime, I wanted to make sure that you knew about this, and I'm going to share my screen. So this is really cool. If you guys were, as you know, Keller Williams and Facebook have a partnership, and that's why you're able to do those social media campaigns through Command. And if you were part of Family Reunion virtually this year, you saw a speaker from Facebook who we work with that talked about what works on Facebook and what people are doing to generate business that's working, how they communicate with consumers, what consumers want. And a big part of that is your local community, local area. So what's super cool is Facebook is going to do a special session for our region, for Northern California and Hawaii, with us. And that is going to be June 30th from 7 to 8:30 a.m. Hawaii time. It's called Leading with Local. I don't know if Zach, I'm not sure who the host on our site is going to be, if it's Zach Younger, a regional tech trainer, ambassador, or who maybe Latasha knows. Because I had her touch base with Zach.
Right now it's Zach.
Right now it's Zach. Okay. So, and this is not just about ads, running ads in Facebook. They may touch on that and talk about Command a little bit, probably near the end. This is really about getting great content of how to do a more effective job if you're using social media to attract business and to convert. So I would highly recommend, if you're on social media or you're using Facebook, to jump on this. The other thing is invite, I asked him, I said, is this something we can invite other agents to, or prospective people that might want to join our company? I mean, it's an opportunity to build profit share for you guys too, and help somebody. If you know another agent, another company that is doing social media or really wants to grow their social media, uses it as one of their ways to get business, I would invite people. Anybody you're talking to, co-brokers you're working with, just invite them to come so they can get to benefit from the content and see what kinds of trainings that we offer. So any questions about this? Oh, register. Let me put the registration link in the email. Hang on. So I'm going to put actually it's a Zoom link. Oh, did you put it in there already? Did somebody put the registration?
Ray put it in there.
Ray put it in
Gotta
there.
click on the link.
Awesome, Ray. So register like now, so you don't forget about it, and you'll get a reminder email. Put it in your calendar. That's going to be a great, great one. Very excited about that. Okay. Another thing I wanted to share, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this. I got a voicemail, and I get these periodically, and you may as well. And this is a guy in Seattle who, man, he's good. This is another example of something you can do to build your referral agent network, because we have such access to these agents through Command and Keller Williams with the referral network. He sends me periodic voicemails. This guy, his name is Jim Elliott. Now in Seattle, we have connections in Seattle. We have an agent out of our office that's in Seattle, and we have Michelle, and then we have Troy Otto, which is Dean's son, who's also out of Seattle. So I've been sending referrals to them. However, if I didn't have a connection in Seattle, I would totally send to this guy, Jim Elliott, because he follows up with me and he sends me these periodic updates on information. And they're just, I believe he uses probably something like Slide Dial, where he just sends out the voicemail to multiple people and it goes right to their voicemail. So he doesn't talk to them on the phone. It's, an efficient use of time. So I'm going to play this for you. And he's a CRS and I'm a CRS. And so it's through the CRS network is what he does, certified residential specialist, so that he specifically targets the CRSs. And I'm going to see, where's my microphone? Let me see if you guys can hear this. If not, let me know. Turn up my volume here. Hang on.
Oh, hey, good morning. This is Jim.
Can you hear it?
Real estate here in Seattle, Washington, and your Seattle CRS agent. I just wanted to check in with you. It's been a little bit, and kind of give you an update of what's been happening here in Seattle market. We have been just red hot. We have seen properties going for 5 to 20% over asking. We've been getting multiple offers, and we're in desperate need to get more inventory on the market to kind of satisfy all our poor buyers that have lost out for several weeks to months. And so just wanted to kind of give you an update of what's happening here. I'm sure you are seeing the same thing in your market. We do expect more inventory to come on the market, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier here later summer into the fall time. If you do have any questions about our market, anything I can help you with, any buyers or sellers, please let me know. Be more than happy to share with you what I know and see what we can do to help out with any of your clients. My direct line is 206-769.
Okay, so you get the idea, right? Okay, so Joanne, yeah, you're a CRS too, so you get that thing. He probably has the directory in his database, and he just creates this voicemail every, I don't know how often I get it, probably quarterly from him. So the question is, how can you guys maximize the referral network opportunity with what we have right now? If you are not getting referrals, if you do not have referral partners in our feeder markets, at least our feeder markets, which would be where would our feeder markets be?
West Coast.
West Coast. Yep. Andy, primarily, right?
Los Angeles, Vancouver.
Yep. And now other places too, right? Texas is more of a feeder market. We have more East Coast than we've had before. So if, what can you do to maximize that network? If you're not getting outside referrals right now, you are missing an opportunity. So what is one thing you can do between, this in June or in the next couple of weeks to reach out and build your referral network? Okay, Michelle's pointing to her phone. Call people. Is that what you're saying?
Call people that you may have met, or call people that you've connected with on Facebook and various referral groups, or mastermind groups, or just any area that you have interest in. We could just pick up the phone and call people and introduce ourselves.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, which I was going to talk about today, I'll just segue to, which is Mega Camp is coming up in August. So that is going to be primarily virtual. There are some tickets the conference center is actually increasing the number of attendees that they're going to allow. And this is happening like kind of incrementally on a daily basis. So as that happens, KWRI is deciding like who they open it up to. So far, anybody who is in Gary's top agent group that he is in masterminds with monthly based on their GCI, they got invited. So I know Dean's going. And then the Mastery, and then Loyola on the Big Island. So those are our two agents that are in Gary Keller's mastermind group, individual agents. And then we had invites went out to anybody who's a MAPS Mastery client, should have received an invitation. And I have that list. So I sent out an email last night to all of you who you got copied on that email. So you guys have the option to go live. Everybody else is going to be attending virtually. And that is another opportunity for you to build referral network, because what happens is they have rooms, they have like chat rooms, and then they have the training classes. And in the training classes, you can also post as you're watching, the live feed. And those are ways, and you can connect with those people as well through the website, which we'll go through. Like if you were in Family Reunion, you saw how you could do that, and you can build your network there. Those are great people to do this with. And they're not necessarily the same people other people are building their referral network with. There's so many opportunities. Okay, so I want to make sure, and the registrations for Mega Camp, I don't think have been, those haven't gone out yet, right? As far as anybody else being able to register, Latasha or Ray, we're still waiting for that to be released. So I think that's going to happen the first week of July. I know this week they're still working on invitations. And by the way, if you do get an invitation and ability to go, you should do that. Take advantage of it. Okay, a couple other training classes I wanted to mention that are coming up. And Ray, you can chime in, or Latasha, if there's anything else that you want to add. Obviously, I know the ones that I'm involved in, so I'm going to talk about those. I'm doing life-changing philosophies training next Tuesday. So if you feel like you could use some support in how you're approaching your business and life, your mindset, understanding different philosophies that can help your business and life. I talk about the law of averages. I talk about the set of the sail, and how that determines your destination. I've got, just some big philosophies that have really impacted my personal and business life that I want to share with you. And I think I've only done that training once before for some of the new agents several months ago, and that's it. That's 9 to 10:30 on the 29th, next Tuesday. That's open to everybody. And also I've just added a class that I'm going to be doing in July 14th from 2 to 4 p.m. And that is a mid-year, even though it's going to be a little later than mid-year, a mid-year vital signs training for your business. So that's where we're going to assess where you're at and what are the things that you need to do. And it's like a checkup on your business. And it's not things that you're going to be doing naturally, because we're going to be covering the budget model and the economic model for the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I'm going to take you through those, and then you're going to come up with your own, and you're going to apply them to your business if you don't already have them. And if you already have them, it's an opportunity for you to take a look at them and tweak them. So, what are you spending? Are you holding your dollars accountable? What is your current return on investment? Those are some of the things we're going to talk about. And then your economic model of where you're at in terms of production, what your GCI looks like. It's about profitability in your business. So we'll be covering that and doing a checkup for your business on July 14th. Anything else on trainings? And then of course I mentioned the Facebook training. What else?
There's
Latasha
a
or
class
Ray?
today with myself and my BFF in Hilo, Rochelle Augustine Beck. We're doing the 5 tips for maximizing compliance. So that will be a power session. It's only going to be 30 minutes. And so it's today at 11 a.m. and it will be recorded, and there will also be handouts for it.
Okay, cool. How many of you read the real estate bulletin newsletter that comes out? In the chat box, tell me verbally, how many of you read the real estate commission bulletin? Joanne says yes.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that, and Keone, you're the one that made the suggestion, I thought it was a great one, is that, and I think we do start doing this periodically on the company huddles and also in the team meetings, that we remind people of the examples of things that happen in there. And this is where, and there is information in there and other news that they put in the bulletin. However, the majority of why people read it is they want to see what kind of licensing violations came down, like who did what and why they, and whether they got fined or if they lost their license, what the penalty was, because we want to avoid that at all costs, right? We don't want to have an issue with the real estate commission and our license. So we are going to be, Keone had the idea that we bring those up, because when we talk about compliance, sometimes people go, compliance, like, I have to get in all this paperwork and do all these things. And, what may seem like sometimes jumping through hoops. However, it is really protecting your licenses and our license to do that. So we're making it as painless as we possibly can. And with the insertion of our new transaction assistant, who's starting in July, and the 2 transaction coordinators who are being trained right now, that will be easier, with the idea to be easier for you. So one of the things that we're going to mix up a little bit is some of the content. I mean, we talk about current events in the team meetings too. So we have now 1 monthly team meeting for Maui. Big Island they're still doing their weekly team meetings. So Hilo has their meetings on Thursday and Kona has their meetings on Tuesday. And then I think they have a combined meeting maybe once a month. You guys do, Andy, you can tell me. And then we also have a Maui meeting, which everybody's welcome to join, not just Maui. I mean, because we cover everybody in the company, wherever you're located. So it's Big Island too. And that is now, it's the second Thursday of the month, which is when we were just doing the West Side meeting. We're only doing once a month now. We were doing twice a month before. And why I bring that up is because we are mixing up the content. We do cover all the same things that we typically cover in the monthly meetings. We do a needs and wants, we do hot topics, we do awards, recognition. We talk about training classes. We still are doing all of that. However, I'm going to start doing some teaching in those team meetings where you're going to get snippets of some of the things that, okay, what can you do today to build your business? What is working for people? It's kind of what we share on here, but it's going to be more expanded, and we're not going to cover the same content. Some people think it's the same content, and I'm going to tell you that it's not. So I encourage you to also attend that monthly meeting where we have more time. We're also going to have some speakers coming in. So I would suggest that, which we don't have time for on this meeting, suggest that you also attend those team meetings. And compliance will be one of the things that we talk about, or tell you examples about people that have not had good luck with what they've done, or where they've made a mistake that you may have made that you don't even realize is a mistake. Okay, one other thing, bold local. So I submitted, those of you who love bold, who have done bold, and those of you who haven't done bold, which is Keller Williams' #1 training program. It's like a series, and it's its #1 program in terms of increasing level of production of agents. So no other training class has it been recorded that somebody has been able to increase their business as much as when they go bold. So they have a new bold format, which I'm now told, of course, every time it's the best one ever, right? But this one they really say is the best one. It's virtual, and that you have to apply for that as a market center, and you have to qualify for it, meaning there have to be enough people that are going to attend for them to do it. So I applied for the October launch because there was one coming up, I think in July or something. And I figured that was probably too soon and everybody is slammed. So I think October is going to be a good time for us to do it. I want to my plan is to partner with Honolulu and their offices, and then Kauai and their offices, which makes it also an additional networking opportunity for you guys and referral partnership opportunity. So keep that in mind. I'll get you the dates. I think it's October 10th it starts, and you'll be seeing stuff go out on that as soon as we get permission to start to get registrations for that. We do need to have a minimum of a certain amount of agents. So in our office, we're basically committed to, I think, at least 40 agents from our office, which, I would guess we're going to have. There should be at least 40 of you that really want to do that training or have done it before. Anybody who's done it before typically is going to do it again, like me. I don't know, I've done it like 5 or 6 times. So that's coming up in October, so look out for that. And then, is Don Harris on? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, and then we have to wish Don Harris a happy birthday. So put in the chat box. Today's his birthday. Don Harris, happy birthday. Do you want us to sing?
No.
Okay. Well, happy birthday, Dawn. We love you for being here. And I know you're going to be on the ALC region meeting too, right, today. So you're just committed and I love it. Okay, let's see any other notes that I have. Talked about that. Oh, was an interesting statistic that came out. Commissions Inc., which does like leads. They have a lead program. And anyway, it's a company that some agents across the country work with. Anyway, they ran some stats and they just determined. So normally, I should say normally, last year, out of 8 buyers, so any 8 buyers that an agent was working with last year in 2020, 1 of 8 also had a property to sell. So 1 out of 8 buyers last year had a property they also needed to sell. Okay, we talk about listing inventory right now. Guess what it is in 2021? What they're seeing the data already halfway through the year. 1 in how many buyers do you think also have a property to sell? I think it's more or less. Sam, that's a good guess. It's 1 in 3. 1 in 3 buyers today also have a property that they need to sell. So what does that mean to you? And how do you maximize that opportunity? What can you do that you're maybe not doing right now? Not going to spoon feed it. How do you take advantage of an opportunity like that? How many of you are working with buyers and don't have a listing? What do you need to do, you guys? What can you do? We're talking about getting listings.
Well, and if the property isn't here, get a referral.
That's right.
Contact somebody.
So how many of you are asking them the question? So you have a buyer, you start working with them, they want to buy here, you're focused on finding them property here and asking them all the questions about their property here. Are you asking in your intake form, and by the way, do you have a buyer intake form that's consistent? Are you asking them, do you have to sell to buy? Or do you have another property somewhere that you may need to sell? Or you want either to buy or just because you're looking to sell? And if you're not asking that question, they're getting another agent in their area or even potentially here in Hawaii. So, and then absolutely a referral. Oh yeah, we're going to have to sell our property in Washington. Great. I'd love to connect you. Are you already working with an agent? No, great. I'd love to connect you with somebody in our network and get you a great agent to help support you there. And boom, a referral. Or, oh yeah, we have a property in Kula we need to sell. And, we're looking at condos right now with you on the west side, but we were thinking of using our old agent to sell our property in Kula. Oh, well, let's talk about what it looks like if I were to help you do that too. Okay, so a reminder and the takeaway would be, if you do not have a buyer intake form of a series of questions that you ask them, create one, or you can make a part of your buyer consultation that's in our packet that you guys get from KW. That's your buyer consultation packet. That is what I've got. And it's 9:10. All right, what questions do you have? What takeaways did you get from today? Give me a takeaway from today and then tell me something good. So what's a takeaway from today? Since I can't see a lot of your faces today, which is very unnerving. Just kidding. I can see Anthony and Brendan and Kathy and Ray and Latasha. So
as much as possible, try to speak kindly and watch your words and speak the right words if at all possible.
Love it. Watch your words, speak kindly. Great. Give me another one. Who's got another one from today?
Talk
Take away
to
or
people
something.
on the phone and or on Zoom or in person and versus email. It can be interpreted.
I love it. Great. Talk to people, especially if it's a sensitive issue or something that can be misinterpreted, which really everything can.
Keep networking with other agents in our feeder markets.
Yep. Great. So if you don't have a plan to do that, put a plan on paper to do that and time block it out. Great. All right. Tell me something good. Or Keone, If you guys have anything else, let me know.
Before we get into something good, I have someone that is looking for a rental property, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, good credit, is getting desperate because they've been looking for a couple months in the Kihei area, if possible. That is ideally. Can pay up to about 3,000, maybe a little bit more. We'll pay a couple months in advance.
Okay, sorry, Anne, you were saying they're looking for a rental?
Yes.
Okay, so so just be careful about paying months in advance. You cannot do that if it's a long-term rental. That's illegal. So just
Oh,
FYI.
it is. I didn't know that.
Yep, just a heads up there. That's okay. So if there's a property manager involved, so if they're looking for a rental, they should contact Amanda Cooper too. She does tenant placement. So let me put her number in the chat box. And oh, thank you, Ray. Ray already got it done. Love it. Yeah, Amanda Cooper can help find properties, and she will also know the landlord tenant code. And so she will let them know that even though I know people want to do that sometimes and pay in advance, they cannot. We can only collect security deposit and 1 month's rent.
Does anyone know a surveyor that can turn something around fairly fast? We have a 30-day close and we haven't been able to find one.
Good question. I think somebody posted on Facebook, I saw a question posted on Facebook. I don't know if that was you, Kathy, and they posted a surveyor. Anybody?
We tried Carl. He's booked
Yeah,
into
Carl's-
August.
Carl's slammed. Carl's like slammed. Okay, Baron, you got something?
Yeah, I have something good, but I do have a quick question. I don't want to get into great detail because I know we're short for time, but
Sure.
I have a client that, because I'm over on the Big Island and I know what the laws are kind of here around short-term vacation rental, but I have a client, a potential client, they don't know whether they're going to buy here or Maui, but they were asking me about residential properties and short-term vacation rental here on the Big Island. They basically are, if it's zone residential, only the properties that are grandfathered in can keep the permit and do short-term vacation rental. You can't apply for one because it's not zoned for it. Is it kind of the same way in Maui or?
Yes, it's similar in Maui. We have a weird, though we have like the Minatoya, we have like a weird, I would say caveat to that for certain condo complexes. But yes, in general, it's the same. I don't know, Keone, if you want to address that, but in general, what you're explaining is the same situation here, that the property either allows it, right? The property has to be zoned to allow it. And then it also has to allow, like if there's an HOA too, that can be a consideration because we've had situations where property was zoned where it was allowable and then the HOA stopped allowing them.
Like the house rules, but in terms of residential, not condos, is it probably really hard to find a house that's
residential
1.3 million? Yeah, for
okay,
residential.
So residential for short-term rental, they have to have a transient vacation rental permit. They have to have a special permit.
Right, but can you still get one if it's not zoned for it? Because there's non-conforming use permit here where you used to be able to apply for one and they only gave a certain amount out, but they grandfathered in. So if you didn't do it by a certain date.
I think you still can, Keone. There's no moratorium on that right now, right? You can still apply and get a short-term transient vacation rental permit for single family. Keone, do you know? Is he here? Did he leave?
You have to wait
Andy?
at least 5 years before you can apply for it. You have to own the property for 5 years.
Oh,
right.
So
Well,
right now
no.
you have to buy. So if you buy something and close on it, you got to wait 5 years to apply now for a short term.
Yeah, and there's a limited number of permits available for the island. So
Okay.
your chances
There you
of
go.
getting one is incredibly small.
okay. And does it also have to be zoned for it, or you could potentially one that's not zoned for short-term vacation rental? Because I think that's the issue, right? That it's not zoned for it.
No, well, if they're residences, they wouldn't be that wouldn't, I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that wouldn't be in the zoning. And if Marion's on, she can chime in too, because it's going to be zoned as a residential. Like the zoning is not going to be like in Maui County, at least, we don't have a specific zoning, as far as I know, for short-term rental homes. that has to do with getting the permit of use, right? So that's the
Okay.
use.
Because on the
Based
Big Island, there are some houses
There
that
may
are
be here.
zoned V for vacation near the condos, like along the coastline, but they're not in the $1.2 million range, or, you know,
Got
they're
it.
like maybe 8 to 20 million or something like that.
I just uploaded
So-
the Maui County ordinance for short-term rentals.
Thank you,
Uh-huh.
Dawn. That's
the
great.
chat box, so you can check.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
thank
Baron-
you. Thank you.
There you go.
Awesome.
Sometimes it's really hard to find those things.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to, my assistant's trying to sign into my email. Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay, tell me something good, then we'll go.
Oh, me? I have a client that I've been working with since January, and they're finally have their down payment saved and they're qualified and ready to go. We already wrote an offer. We didn't get it, but they're here now on island. So that's exciting. They're going to familiarize themselves with all the different complexes and condo complexes. So they are
That's
ready to go.
awesome.
Yeah. So to be my
Yay,
book
thank
sale when it does happen. So
Yay!
far. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. All right, Baron, thank you for sharing. Thank you guys. Have a great
Thank
rest of
you.
your day, rest of your week. Bye.